Hello, welcome to my garage. We've got a little tiny update on the micro project. Nothing really has happened with the engine that's in there, other than pulling some more of the loom out, the header tank and everything. Actually forgot I'd filled it with fluids, so I'm going to have to drain the fluids. I want to keep the coolant because it's actually brand new coolant. It's never, well, it's run, but it's never been hot or anything. So although the engine's been stood for a while, it has been stood with correct coolant levels in it, so it's not going to be I was going to say rusty, but it's aluminium engine, but it's not going to be corroded or anything inside. It's got the correct coolant in there. Anyway, so the plan at the moment, the next plan to do would be to remove the dashboard that's in there at the moment, get rid of the plastic dash, and find a heater box for the piping I have in there for the windscreen demist, which is obviously a necessity in the UK because it gets wet and cold and you end up with a misty windscreen. The clocks for the motorbike, I'll find a bracket, or make a bracket, sorry, to fix onto the original micro stuff in there, so that I've got as many of the original motorbike stuff in there as possible, the rev counter and the speedo, which I do have with that came with the wiring loom. The next thing would be to potentially remove the entire loom that's in the car, which has been it's been pared back. Actually, there's some old bits of loom and stuff on the floor. What I've done, I don't know if you can see here, all I've got on this side now at the moment is the lights and the brake master cylinder level switch. So that's it on this side. Everything else that was on there, all the old air conditioning wiring, power steering stuff, all the fog light wiring and the electric moving headlights and all that kind of wiring that was on the facelifted micro that the loom came out of has been removed. So it is just a bare lighting loom at the moment. The same was done on the other side. Although there is a box there with fuses in that I wanted to keep, because some of those fuses are, I'm going to say vital, but they're important for the circuits that are in the car, such as, just for protection. I think there's a headlight one in there. There's a couple of relays in there as well. The thing is, if I'm changing the engine with the engine loom, the only thing I would need in the car would be lighting. There's nothing else I need in there. So your brake light switch, your tail lights, fog light, number plate light, headlights, dipped and main beam, which can be on a separate circuit, and indicators. That's it. I don't need anything else in the car. There's a separate loom in there for the wipers and the washer bottle. That's already on separate switches. And I've also got a separate switch for the fuel pump, so with a separate relay. So there's no need for any of the original wiring at all. So I can get rid of that if need be, and then sort of bastardize the ZX9R bike loom and sort of extend it and multiply some of the lighting. So the brake lights, for instance, would be dual brake lights rather than single, and then use the motorbike loom, which would be lighter than the car one. The car one weighs a ton. If you've ever picked up an entire micro wiring loom with all the connectors and everything on it, it weighs an absolute ton. You're talking maybe 20 or 30 kilos of copper. It is horrific. So if I can make that lighter, it's one extra thing that's going to reduce the overall weight of the vehicle. Now, the next option from there, or the next thing to do, should I say, would be to measure the roll cage. The roll cage itself is designed for this vehicle. It does fit tightly, but it does fit. And it's currently in the correct location at the moment with some jiggery pokery. It needs some fettling. I think the last time, there's a scrutineering sticker there. The last time it was scrutineered, which is up on the front there, was 2016 in a completely different car. So I I will need to, if I'm going to go on any sanctioned events, it will need scrutineering. The whole car will be done, and then obviously any failings that I miss will be brought up there. Now, here, the reason the central hoop is lifted slightly from the floor is because the battery tray here is actually forcing the rear triangle up, so it's kind of pivoting upwards and pushing the main hoop up. So that will be sorted out as soon as I can get the battery tray out, which will be an angle grinder away. And then what I can do from there is measure, bolt the roll cage together with the door bars, which I do have. Can't remember where. Oh, there's one. There's a door bar. So bolt the door bars in, and then go from there as far as bolting it together tightly, measuring the roll cage to make sure that everything is in the correct location, and then marking out on the floor where the feet need to be welded to. Once that's done, I can drill the holes for the captured nuts into the chassis and grind away the paint, tack them in place, and then obviously get my mate to come and weld them properly, because I'm not a good welder, as you can probably tell by this down here. Again, he's going to sort this out for me. Welding's not something I can do. It's just too expensive a thing to get into for me at the minute. The next thing I will be doing, though, right now, in fact, when I get my gloves on, I will be taking the wrap off this manifold and putting it on this one. What we have here is an Ashley racing manifold for the Nissan Micra, the 1 litre, the 1.3 and the 1.4. Here is the ZX9R manifold for the bike. And the reason there's a big gap in there is because that's where the oil filter pokes through on the bike. Now, if you're going to go for a manifold for a Micra, and you're not going to go for one of GizFab ones because they are very well made, stainless steel. They're quite expensive though, and if you're on a budget and you don't want to spend £400, £500, £600 on a full exhaust system, most people can't afford to go for that on a full exhaust system, then I wouldn't go with a Janspeed or however you want to pronounce it manifold. And the reason for that is, if they're wrapped like this, they will rot in about 6 months, and they're just made of crap material. They're really expensive for what you get, and they don't last very long. The other thing as well is they're slightly different as far as the flange up here is concerned. This flange on a Janspeed is slightly deeper. Why does that make a difference? Well, when you're putting it in the car, the Janspeed one comes in 2 pieces. It comes with the outer 2 cylinders and the inner 2 cylinders as 2 separate pieces, and they slot together underneath the engine. The problem with the way that flange is a little bit longer on the Janspeed is when you're trying to slot it down under the engine, the flange smacks on your cam cover and you can't get it in. And the only way of doing it is to force it in, which risks damaging your cam cover, going in from underneath, which a lot of the times doesn't actually work, and you may need to remove the crossbar to get it in, or even the alternator, or undoing the engine mount and actually moving the engine, so sliding the engine that way to get the exhaust in, which is a bit ridiculous, to be honest. The Ashley manifold, because these flanges are cut down, it fits straight away. You can get it up underneath the car, or you can drop it in from the top, and there's not a problem getting it in there at all. It just slides in. It's only a minor thing, but the biggest thing about the Ashley manifold is it's single piece. Yes, it's a 4-2-1 system, which is a high torque setting, rather than a 4-1. If you see the motorbike here, it's 4 into 1 collector. Yeah, it's 2 separate collectors, 2 separate 2-to-1 collectors, but they're actually merged in the middle. So that's a 4-to-1 exhaust, which is good for high-end power, which is what motorbikes give. And the car one is good for torque. So you've got 4 into 2 lots of 2, and then into 1. The other thing as well is it's a lot better quality material than the Janspeed stuff, and it's a thicker material as well. So this one is, God knows how many years old. It was quite old when I got it, and I've had it a while, but it's still solid. There's no thin points on it. There's no breaking through. There's no welds cracked or excuse me, or blowholes in it. None of that stuff. It's solid. And if you're going to go for one, go for an Ashley manifold rather than a Janspeed one. The Janspeed one, everybody in the micro community knows if you're going to get a second-hand Janspeed, you're going to be buying shares in this company to try and fix the bloody thing. Anyway, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove the wrap off the Ashley manifold so that Andrew French can have a look at the condition of this, and then I'm going to wrap the, I think it's stainless manifold off the ZX9R. Yeah, I think it is stainless. Again, this is 20 years old, so yeah, if you make something out of stainless steel, it should last a shitload longer than making it out of mild steel. But still, this is a quite decent, thick quality mild steel. So that's where I am at the minute. I've given my side a quick tidy up and a brush up so we can work on here without getting too much bodywork dust everywhere. And then, yeah, I'll start working on measuring up the roll cage and getting that situated in the right place. Other than that, that's pretty much it for now. I've had to, put everything on a bit of a hold at the moment due to the virus crap that's going on at the minute. There's Frankie Boyle. Yeah, it will start picking up. I'll be recording weekends mostly from now on, and then seeing if I can get the progress out a little bit quicker, because I've been held back with postage of parts, equipment, and as everyone has at the minute, money. Just getting everything done all at once is costing a fortune. So anyway, I digress. So we'll move on from there. I'll get the manifold unwrapped and then rewrapped, and then we'll see where I can go from there, and then sort the loom out on the ZX9R wiring loom. Also, if anyone wants any radio controlled cars, I've got a few that need gone. There's a trophy there actually. So I've got a couple of, that's a Tamiya or a Tamiya Peugeot 306 with some hop-up bits on it. This is my old racing car, which is a Matt Francis edition Team Lossy Triple XS Graphite Plus. Mouthful, I know, but still. There's a load of blue aluminium bits and graphite and brushless motor and stuff. So anyway, that was my old racing car with the battery packs underneath it. This was never run. This has got a brushless in it as well, a Yokomo MR4 BC Super Dogfighter 2. This has run maybe twice. It's got a brushless motor in it. A big fan up there for the ECU electronic speed controller, sorry, and the brushless motor in there as well. That's pretty quick when I had it running, but I just lost interest with them. This is an HPI Rush Evo with a nitro motor in it. This is actually, although it looks tatty, this is actually a brand new car from 2006. It's never been run. It was the display model when I worked for I'm not going to advertise them, but a large retail motor parts company. When they were selling radio controlled cars, this was on display, and when they were all got rid of and they stopped dealing with HPI and Model Sport, I was given this one for free, which is a nice little bonus. And this one, which is an original Traxxas T-Max with a load of blue aluminium hop-ups, and an HPI engine. So it's actually got the same engine in as the Rush Evo there. It's just, the original T-Max engine was crap, and the HPI one's actually a better engine. It's all metal gears. you know, it was tidied up a little bit. The battery pack was strapped underneath there, I think. Yeah, you can see on the other side, it's strapped to the chassis there. It's got no reverse gear, it's forward and brake only. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So those are my touring car. Oh, the touring cars. That's a touring car there. Those are my radio controlled cars. Don't know if anyone's into them or not, but if you're interested in any of them, let us know and I'll give you a price for them so I can get rid, because I kind of need the shelf space. Anyway, that's my update. I'll see you next time, and I'll get on with stripping the wrap off this with my gloves on, because the fiberglass gets bloody everywhere. Anyway, cheers very much. I'll see you next time.